Hello students, let's go to the next topic of our syllabus, the current electricity we have started. So let's go to next syllabus. So what exactly next point? It is galvanometer. As galvanometer is a name of the device which can use to measure the current as well as the voltage. So basically voltage as well as current can be measured by this device that is said to be galvanometer. In this galvanometer, what exactly it consists of? It consists of two horseshoe type of magnet. The magnetic pole having a horseshoe, that means it's such type of shoes, the horse leg shoes, such type of thing. These are the two magnet, we can say this is north and this is south. Such type of horseshoe type of magnetic pole they will take, and within this what they will do, they will just keep inside this such type of rectangular coil, and this rectangular coil get deflected as current I pass through the coil get deflected. As current I pass through the coil get deflected, and deflection of the coil is directly proportional to current. So measuring the deflection of the coil, we can measure the current flowing to the galvanometer. So this is basic, and apart from this, there is one pointer I have not drawn here. In your book there is one diagram 9.12. In that case, this horseshoe type of magnet they have taken, then such type of coil I have shown, such type of coil is there. Apart from here somewhere there is a iron core. Inside this, in your book they have shown like this. This is nothing but what? Iron core. To make a magnetic field radial, iron core is used. And apart from that, this coil has one pointer, and this pointer was given on the scale. So if pointer is somewhere here, it is 0, here it is 10. We can say that when some current I pass to the coil get deflect, and accordingly this pointer shows a 10. So that means what? It is 10, either 10 amount of current or voltmeter, depending on the scale and the unit. If it is milliampere, 10 milliampere will be the current. If it is microampere, 10 microampere. If it is volt, 10 volt means it is measuring the voltage. So this is nothing but a galvanometer. So let's start with the first application of galvanometer. As galvanometer can be used to measure voltage as well as the current. So let's start with the first one. How the galvanometer can be used to measure the current. For this, just little bit away, I have drawn the diagram here. So let's go to that diagram and let's see how the galvanometer work as a ammeter. Ammeter means the current measuring device. Same device can be used to measure the current as well as the voltage. Now let's see the first application, galvanometer as an ammeter. So to measure the current by using galvanometer, some modification we have to do in the galvanometer. What are the modifications? Just look at the page number 225. To convert moving coil galvanometer into ammeter, just they have mentioned the 3 points. So let's see what the 3 points are. The first one, effective current capacity must get increased to desired higher value. Current measuring capacity must be increased to desired higher value. That is the first condition we have to achieve. Second one, the effective resistance must be decreased. Effective resistance of galvanometer must decrease, because whatever the instrument we are using to measure the current, it has ideally zero resistance, internal resistance, ideally zero resistance. When we connect the another resistance parallel to the galvanometer, in parallel combination resistance get decreased. In series combination resistance get increased. This much already we have learned in 11th standard. So what we have done, we have connected S as a resistance parallel to galvanometer to make it the less resistance of galvanometer, because ideal ammeter has a zero resistance. That's why the second condition, to decrease the resistance of an ammeter. That is the second condition we have to achieve, and that we have achieved here by connecting this in parallel. Third one, it must be protected from possible damages which are likely due to passage of excess of electric current. Suppose very large amount of electric current get passed, then there is a probability that this galvanometer may get damaged if the current passing is very large. So if the current is large, it should pass by this route and goes away. It will pass by this route and goes away. That's why the galvanometer get protected. So 3 things we have to achieve. The first thing, we have to increase the current carrying capacity, current measuring capacity of galvanometer. Second, for that we have to decrease the resistance of galvanometer. And third one, we have to protect the galvanometer from excess of current. And how we are going to just do it? Just see uses of shunt. Just uses of shunt means what? Resistance S connected parallel to galvanometer it is said to be shunt, and that's why they have used the word S here. Shunt means what? Resistance connected parallel to galvanometer. It will decrease the resistance of galvanometer, so we can use it as a ammeter. Second thing, it can, to increase the range of ammeter, just we have to put some values in mathematical part. We'll see, we are going to increase the range of ammeter. It decreases the resistance between the point which is connected. It is used to divert a large part of total current by providing alternate path. See, this is alternate path. If large current is passing, it get passed to this. So galvanometer get protected. So these are the things that we have to achieve. Now see, in this diagram, just I have connected this R as a input resistance, whatever it may be. This G is a galvanometer whose resistance is G. Current passing through the galvanometer is IG. Then IS is a current passing through the shunt resistance. Again at the output here we get Ig plus Is, that is nothing but I. Now as we know, when two resistors or two devices connected parallel to each other, voltage drop across them is same. So we have to find out the voltage drop across galvanometer and the shunt must be same. Voltage drop means what? Current flowing to galvanometer, Ig into G equal to Is into S. Ig into G is the voltage drop across galvanometer, Is into S, it is a voltage drop across the shunt resistance. As they are connected parallelly, so both of them potential drop must be same. Now let's see here, from this diagram we can write I gets split at this point into two parts. I equal to Is plus Ig. We can write I equal to Is plus Ig at this point. Gets split into two branches. Some get passed to galvanometer, some get passed to the shunt resistance. So we get I equal to Is plus Ig. From this, just find out the value of current Is. Find out the value of current Is. So I will write it here. I equal to Is plus Ig. From this, find the value of Is. So Is equal to I minus Ig. That current we get I minus Ig, and we have to put that value of current Is in this equation. Put this value of Is in this equation. Rewrite the equation I minus Ig into S, and this is what? Ig into G equal to I minus Ig into S. From this, find the value of S. This S we have to find out. So this equation implies that S equal to what? Ig divide by, this go to denominator, I minus Ig, outside the bracket this G as it is. So this S value we have find out. What is S? Shunt resistance connected, that is said to be S. So this S we have find out. How much shunt resistance should be connected, that can be find out by from this equation, Ig divided by I minus Ig into G. Apart from this, if you want to increase the range of instrument to what? The N times. So we can put here same equation. If we put I equal to N times Ig. Put this value in this denominator. What we get? Ig at numerator. It is what? N into Ig. Here again the Ig. Take it common Ig. So Ig N minus 1 into G. This Ig get cancelled out. So what we get? G divided by N minus 1 S equal to. That is for measurement of current. That is to make galvanometer as an ammeter. The condition we get, it is G divided by N minus 1. So that is the condition we get for this. Similarly, apart from this, as we have just put this Is equal to I minus Ig here. Suppose I want to put a value of Ig. Instead of Is, I want to put Ig. Find out Ig from this equation. This equation implies that Ig equal to I minus Is, and put this value of Ig here instead of Is. And rewrite the equation. What we get? Just I will write that equation here. I will write it a bit sideways. What will occur when we put value of Ig instead of Is in this equation? So what we get? Ig means I minus Is into G equal to Is into S. Just look at here what we have done. We have put the value of Ig into G, Ig equal to I minus Is I have kept. We can write that equation. Okay. Now apart from this, why we have put this value? Because we want to find out some little bit something different. Just solve it. Thus I into G minus IS into G equal to IS into S. IS into S. Move this IS term to that side. What we get? I into G equal to IS is common. S plus G. Because this S, this goes there, it becomes positive. It is S plus G. Now find out the value of I divided by IS according to the book, or IS divided by I. IS divided by I. So you get here IS, this divided by I goes there, equal to G here divided by S plus G. This will give the ratio of the current. This will give the ratio of the shunt current to the total current is equal to G divided by S plus G. So in this fashion, we can convert galvanometer into ammeter to measure the current. In the same way, we have to go for measurement of voltage by using same instrument, galvanometer. What are the modifications that we'll see? Before going into detail, let's revise the topic once again. So what we have done, both the galvanometer and shunt resistance are connected in parallel. That's why the voltage drop across them must be same. Ig into G is the voltage drop across galvanometer equal to Is into S, voltage drop across shunt resistance. Now put the value of Is from this equation. Here we get Is I minus Ig into S, Ig into G as it is. Just solve this equation for S. So S equal to Ig divided by, this goes to denominator, I minus Ig into G. Now if we increase the range, I equal to N into Ig and take Ig common, we get G divided by N minus 1, that is a shunt resistance. Another way, we can modify the equation. Instead of putting the value of Is here from this, if we put Ig here, I minus Is into G, just I will write here, I minus Is into G equal to Is into S as it is. Solve it and find out Is by S, it comes to be G divided by S plus G. Or from this we can find Is also. Move this I here, we get current flowing to the shunt resistance. So this, in this fashion, we can convert galvanometer into what? To ammeter to measure the current. So in this fashion, we can measure the current by using galvanometer. Okay. So same way, we have to see how can we convert galvanometer into voltmeter. To see this, let's go to little bit different part of the blackboard. I have drawn the diagram already there. So let's go to that part. So just we'll move to this part. Here, in this case, there is second application of the galvanometer, that is nothing but to measure the voltage, and that is said to be the galvanometer is converted into voltmeter. So let's go to this topic and let's start with this. So what will occur in this case? Again, the 3 points they have mentioned in your book. The first one, same as we have seen in case of current, these are for the voltages. The first one, its voltage measuring capacity must get increased to desired value. Initially, it is current measuring for ammeter. It is voltage measuring. Second, its effective resistance must get increased. Why we have to increase the effective resistance? Because whenever voltmeter is connected in the circuit, it has infinite resistance. Ideal voltmeter has infinite resistance. That's why we want to increase the resistance of the galvanometer. How can we do that? We have decreased the resistance in case of ammeter by connecting parallel resistance. In this case, we want to increase the resistance. So connect this resistance series with the galvanometer. So resultant resistance of galvanometer get increased, and we can say it is not infinite, but it is more. And once it is more, we can use the same instrument, galvanometer, as a voltmeter. So third one, it must be protected. It must get protected from some losses. Suppose some higher voltage is applied, how it will be protected? By using this resistance connected in series with this. By using this, we can protect the galvanometer. So this is the nothing but what? How galvanometer can be converted into voltmeter or to measure the voltage or EMF. Let's start with some mathematical part. Let us find out V is a voltage drop. Voltage to be measured. Suppose this V is a voltage we have applied between these two terminals that we want to measure by using this device, galvanometer. So let's go to derivation of this. So in this case, suppose voltage applied between these 2 points is V, and that we want to measure by using galvanometer. How can we measure? So that can be measured by this method. Just we can write one equation. V equal to This suppose Ig is the current flowing to this branch. So equal to what? Ig into X plus Ig into G. This is X. Ig into X plus Ig into G. That we get the voltage measured. So this current get dropped here along X and along G also. So that we can find out this potential difference along X and potential difference along galvanometer. Their addition together gives the voltage. So in this fashion we can measure this. So apart from this, suppose I want to find the value of X. So first of all find out this value. So you can write this as Ig into X equal to V minus this, V minus Ig into G. Find the value of X, divide both sides by G. So what we get? X equal to V divided by Ig minus G. V divided by Ig minus G. Divide both sides by Ig. Ig goes here. V by Ig. Ig is 1. Cancelled out. So minus G. So this is the equation we get. Apart from this is the equation we get. If we want to increase the range of instrument by n times, then we have to put here V equal to n into Vg. N into Vg. If you put this value, you can solve it further. N into Vg. So just if you put in this equation that value, what do we get? I will write this side little bit. So we get X equal to N into Vg divide by Ig minus G. We get this. Now Vg divided by Ig according to Ohm's law, V equal to IR. Okay. V by G means V by I means what? V divided by I is nothing but R. But this is galvanometer, so suffix G, so it is resistance of galvanometer G. So you can write it further as it is what? N into G minus this G. G taken common, we get it is N minus 1. So X equal to G into N minus 1 we get here. In case of current, it comes in denominator, G divided by N minus 1. Here, G into N minus 1. In case of voltmeter, G into N minus 1. In case of ammeter, G divided by N minus 1. That you have to just take into account and you must keep in your mind also. Whenever we are measuring the voltage, voltmeter is connected in parallel. Okay. Whenever we are measuring the current, it is connected in series. That part is well known to everyone. Let's go further. And then in your book, next topic, what they have mentioned, comparison between ammeter and voltmeter. So let us revise it first and then go to next one. So first topic, first distinguish or difference. Ammeter, it measures the current. It is common sense. Voltmeter, it will measure the voltage. Second, ammeter connected in series. Yes, I have told you. Whenever we want to measure the current, it must be connected in series. About voltage, parallel. Same second point they have mentioned. Third, it is a moving coil galvanometer with a low resistance, ideally 0. In case of ammeter, resistance must be minimum, ideally 0. That's why we have connected shunt resistance, that means parallel to galvanometer, to decrease the resistance of galvanometer. In case of voltmeter, it must be maximum, that is ideal, it is infinite, and that's why to increase it we have connected in series with the galvanometer to increase the resistance. Fourth one, smaller the shunt resistance, greater will be the current measured. In case of ammeter, parallel resistance set to be shunt. If its value is smaller, we can measure more current. In case of voltmeter, larger its resistance, greater will be the potential difference measured. If this X is more, we can measure the more potential difference. And the fifth one, resistance of ammeter is given by R equal to. So these are the 5 distinguished between the ammeter and voltmeter, and all these points can be just compared by considering that we are using galvanometer. Now let's go to next one, thermoelectricity. So next topic, the blue part they have mentioned in your book, that is thermoelectricity. What is my thermoelectricity that we have to learn? And apart from this, how it will measure and what is the name of that instrument and what is the name of that effect that we have to learn. So let's start with thermoelectricity. So as it is name suggests that it is thermoelectricity. So thermoelectricity is nothing but what? It is one of the electricity produced due to change in temperature. So as we know, when the current gets passed through the wire or resistance, it will produce a heat. Some part of current get vested to create a heat. So suppose this is a wire, through this wire or this resistance through which current I is passing. For some time period, it is seen that as current is passing, it will produce somewhere here heat in the resistance or in the wire. If you are well known about electric fan, when we switch on the fan for lot of time, 1 hour, 2 hours, we can say that regulator get heated as well as fan get heated. What is that? The electricity converted into heat. Okay, it will produce a temperature. Same way, there is one scientist whose name is Seebeck. What he discovered, that he discovered the opposite thing. Heat can be converted into electricity. See, in our case, current passes through the conductor or some device produce the heat. Okay. But according to Seebeck, he observed that this heat can be converted into electric current, and that is said to be thermoelectricity. Due to increase in temperature, some current gets produced, and that current produces electricity, that is said to be thermoelectricity. And this effect is said to be Seebeck effect. Seebeck effect is what? There are basically two junctions. As if you have the book, you can see in your book, there are two junctions you can take. Suppose this is one small pot. Okay, this is another small pot. Okay, these two are at different temperatures. Suppose I have kept here some ice, and suppose I am going to heat it continuously. Just going to supply the heat to this, so it is kept below the burner, so heat is supplied. So this is said to be cold, this is said to be hot. And while doing this, what they have done, they have just taken a two different material, joined together like this. Suppose this is the first material, this is second material. Okay, so what is this second material, first material? This wire is made up of bismuth, and this wire is made up of antimony, and this wire is made up of antimony. And this is a joint of two different material, antimony and bismuth joined together. Bismuth and antimony joined together at this point. Okay, after that it is seen that as this both the junctions of different metal are at different temperature, this is at cold temperature, this is at higher temperature, that is hot temperature. So it will produce some current in this. It will produce some current. The change in temperature produces a current in this, and that current can be measured by using this galvanometer connected across this. So in this fashion, here electricity produced, which will produce a current, and that can be measured by galvanometer due to change in temperature at two junctions. So this change in temperature produces electricity, and that is said to be thermoelectricity. Apart from this, we can reverse the current. Just move this ice pot here, hot pot here, we can reverse the direction of current. But still current get flow. But remember, if this is ice, I have made this also ice. The temperature of both the junction would be same. In that case, it is not possible for flow of current because both the junctions are kept at a same temperature. The condition is what? Both the junction must be kept at different temperature. To make such two junctions here, and these two junctions are said to be thermocouples. In case of bismuth and antimony, current flow from antimony to bismuth. Material, they have just taken iron here, Fe, and here it is copper. This is another thermocouple where the current move from copper, again iron to copper. Okay, that is the direction of current. So here in this case, they have just mentioned one topic. Apart from these two, the function is same. Initially antimony and bismuth is used. Now copper and iron is used as a thermocouple. Below that, they have just written one equation, E equal to alpha T plus half of beta T square. Beta into T square. This is a E means electricity produced due to thermoelectric effect. Due to this effect, electricity produces alpha into T plus 1 by 2 beta into T square. Alpha, beta are called as a thermoelectric constants. So remember, this effect is reversible. Just change the position, effect get reverse. The direction of current get changed. So this is nothing but a production of electricity due to change in temperature at two junction, and that is said to be thermoelectricity. In this fashion, we have completed this chapter also. Now let's go to the next chapter. In next video, we'll start the new chapter. So please read the book. First watch the video, then read the book. Thank you.